سلام على عباده الذين اصطفى أما بعد فأعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم قل من يرزقكم من السماء والأرض أم من يملك السمع والأبصار ومن يخرج الحي من الميت ويخرج الميت من الحي ومن يدبر الأمر فسيقولون الله فقل أفلا تتقون فذلكم الله ربكم الحق فماذا بعد الحق إلا الضلال فأنى تصرفون كذلك حقت كلمة ربك على الذين فسقوا أنهم لا يؤمنون قل هل من شركائكم من يبدأ الخلق ثم يعيده قل الله يبدأ الخلق ثم يعيده فأنى تؤفكون قل هل من شركائكم من يهدي إلى الحق قل الله يهدي للحق أفمن يهدي إلى الحق أحق أن يتبع أمن لا يهدي إلى أن يهدى فما لكم كيف تحكمون وما يتبع أكثرهم إلا ظنا إن الظن لا يغني من الحق شيئا إن الله عليم بما يفعلون صدق الله العظيم وبلغنا رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين قل من يرزقكم من السماء والأرض. Say to them, who gives you sustenance and rizq from the heavens and the earth? أَمَّنْ يَمْلِكُ السَّمْعَ وَالْأَبْصَارَ, or who controls the powers of hearing and seeing? وَمَنْ يُخْرِجُ الْحَيَّ مِنَ الْمَيِّتِ, and who brings forth the living from the dead? وَيُخْرِجُ الْمَيِّتَ مِنَ الْحَيِّ, and brings forth the dead from the living? وَمَنْ يُدَبِّرُ الْأَمْرِ, and who manages everything? فَسَيَقُولُونَ اللَّهِ, they will say Allah. قُلْ أَفَلَا تَتَّقُونَ, then you say, would you then not fear Allah? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in these ayat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving some more things which would make it easier and logically bring them to understand that who is their real Lord, and the ones that they are associating as partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they basically have nothing. So even if they were asked themselves that who gives you the rain and the water and the crops and the vegetation to come forth from the earth, all of that, who does it? They would say Allah. Or who controls your listening and your seeing? So they would say Allah. وَمَنْ يُخْرِجُ الْحَيَّ مِنَ الْمَيِّتِ وَيُخْرِجُ الْمَيِّتَ مِنَ الْحَيِّ, and who brings forth living from the dead and dead from the living, and who manages everything? They will all say Allah, because these are things that they know that the idols and their associate gods, they cannot do. It is only Allah who does it. And the proof of this they could see every day, that they would ask their idols to bring rain and they were not able to bring rain. If they would ask their idols to protect their vegetation or crops, if Allah would decide for it to be destroyed, it will be destroyed no matter how hard they ask their idols. Similarly, this power of hearing and seeing, in those things they know that there is nobody who can control it apart from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and that is a authority of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that something that Allah has given, for example the ear and the listening organs and everything, but it is Allah who controls in every single moment that the capacity of listening, or similarly the eye, the organ, the parts of it are there, but the capacity of seeing through that eye, all of that is controlled by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is also an example of how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala creating life within something that is dead. So these things of their own, they do not have any features of life, but the feature of life, which is to actually see, is created by the command of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala every time we see. Similarly, the feature of life, which is listening, is given by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So a dead person also has ears, a dead person also has all those organs, but the feature of life has been taken away by the command of Allah. A dead person also has eyes, has all those organs, but the feature of life, which is to be actually able to see, is taken away from Allah by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, so they can no longer see. وَمَنْ يُخْرِجُ الْحَيَّ مِنَ الْمَيِّتِ, who creates, who brings out hayy or living from the dead, which is, there's so many examples. Some of the examples written in the tafsir is that an egg apparently is non-living, but a living creature comes out of it. وَيُخْرِجُ الْمَيِّتَ مِنَ الْحَيِّ, and a living human being creates a sperm or whatever, which is the egg which is dead. وَمَنْ يُدَبِّرُ الْأَمْرَ, and he is the one who manages everything. Who manages everything? فَسَيَقُولُونَ اللَّهُ, they will say that Allah does it. فَقُلْ أَفَلَا تَتَّقُونَ, when you agree to all of this, then why do you not fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and desist from associating partners with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? فَذَلِكُمُ اللَّهُ رَبُّكُمُ الْحَقِّ, so this is your Allah, the right Lord. فَمَاذَا بَعْدَ الْحَقِّ إِلَّا الضَّلَالِ, and what is there after the truth but error and mistake and going astray? فَأَنَّا تُصْرَفُونَ, then why are you being diverted and going in the wrong direction because of your whims? So this principle that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given, فَمَاذَا بَعْدَ الْحَقِّ إِلَّا الضَّلَالِ, that when the truth and the right thing is clear, then everything else apart from it is dhalal, is wrong and error. This applies to, generally, this is a general rule that it applies to all the core teachings of Islam, the aqaid, the faraiz. This is the principle about them, that in a matter of aqidah, in a matter of belief, there is only one right aqidah and all of the others are wrong. So this applies to the core aqaid and the faraiz. But in the accessory or peripheral teachings, for example, where to fold your hands, or do you lift your hands when going into ruku, coming out from the ruku or not, those kind of things, the peripheral rulings, the peripheral teachings, there might be multiple opinions and multiple rulings, and they may all be correct. But in the core of deen, there is only one right thing and everything else is wrong. In the peripheral rulings, in the eye of Allah, only one is correct. But because the other person has, if they have given a different opinion in peripheral teachings, if their teaching, if their ruling is based on sound Quran and Hadith and honesty and taqwa, then they also get a reward for doing ijtihad if they fulfill all the conditions of ijtihad. كَذَلِكَ حَقَّتْ كَلِمَةُ رَبِّكَ عَلَى الَّذِينَ فَسَقُوا أَنَّهُمْ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ. This is how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the word of Allah has come true about the sinners, that they will not believe. That Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had decided, and all of these things are presented to them, but they will not believe, because Allah's decision has been made that they will not become believers, and that decision has been made because of their own choosing. قُلْ هَلْ مِنْ شُرَكَائِكُمْ مَنْ يَبْدَأُ الْخَلْقَ ثُمَّ يُعِيدُهُ قُلِ اللَّهُ يَبْدَأُ الْخَلْقَ ثُمَّ يُعِيدُهُ فَأَنَّى تُؤْفَكُونَ. Say, is there anyone from your associate gods who originates the creation, then brings it again? Then where then are you being turned away by your desires? So it is, that also is a property of Allah alone, that He creates something, then after death Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala brings it again. And this is for human beings and for the earth as well, that the earth, it becomes alive, then it turns dead, then it becomes alive, then it turns dead. So this can also apply to day and night, that the sun comes alive, then it disappears, then it comes alive, then it disappears. All of these things nobody can control except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. قُلْ هَلْ مِنْ شُرَكَائِكُمْ مَنْ يَهْدِي إِلَى الْحَقِّ قُلِ اللَّهُ يَهْدِي لِلْحَقِّ. Say, the third thing that this ayah says, that is there anyone from your associate gods who can guide you to the truth? So the shayateen, the idols, all of those that you worship, a necessary quality of someone that you want to call God has to be that they guide you to the right thing. Can these idols guide you to anything? Can these shayateen guide you to any good thing? No. قُلِ اللَّهُ يَهْدِي لِلْحَقِّ. Allah guides to the truth. Say that Allah guides to the truth. أَفَمَنْ يَهْدِي إِلَى الْحَقِّ أَحَقُّ أَنْ يُتَّبَعَ. then is then he who guides to the truth more worthy of being ahaq of being obeyed. أَمَّا لَا يَهِدِّي إِلَّا أَن يُهْدَى, or the one who has no guidance at all unless they are guided themselves. So the shayateen, or even if the human beings or whoever you want to associate as partners of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they cannot guide you to anything. They need guidance themselves. So how can they deserve to be worshipped? فَمَا لَكُمْ كَيْفَ تَحْكُمُونَ. So what has happened to you and how do you judge things? وَمَا يَتَّبِعُ أَكْثَرُهُمْ إِلَّا ظَنًّا. The reality is that most of them follow nothing but their dhann, their conjectures, some things that they have come up with their own self. إِنَّ الظَّنَّ لَا يُغْنِي مِنَ الْحَقِّ شَيْئًا. Another principle, that your thoughts, whatever you are coming up with, those things that you are coming up from within without any basis, without any evidence, لا يغني من الحق شيئا, that does not free you or is of no matter, is of no avail in the matter of truth at all. So if you are looking for truth, you have to base it on evidence and the signs presented, which are concrete signs, not something that you have come up with your own, which just seems good to your ways. Inna Allah alimun bima yaf'alun, and certainly Allah is fully aware of what they are doing, and Allah will execute His judgment at the right time. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. ربنا تقبل منا اللهم اهدنا واهد بنا اللهم سددنا. وصلى الله تعالى على خير خلقه سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. آمين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين.